Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Gran Turismo 7 Daily racecC race and strategy guide, where we're off to the Nurburgring GP Circuit once again, and we are in the Group 3 machinery. We've got 9 laps to get round, tyre wear is at times 3, fuel is at times 1, it's just the racing soft tyres that are available. There is a mandatory pit stop in this one, BOP is on, damage is light, it's a rolling start. For some reason we've got custom slipstream, which is just not needed here, and for your settings it is just the brake balance. Now this car and track combination is fairly common within the game, but it has been 8 months since we visited here in Daily racecC, and to be fair to Polyphony Digital, the tyre wear model has changed since then, so it does present a slightly different dynamic. But given the amount of tracks out there that see very little use, if any use at all, it is a little bit annoying to be visiting this circuit once again. Now, I have nothing whatsoever against the Nurburgring GP circuit, but as I just alluded to, there is a lot of circuits out there that have never been used or have seen very little use, and I reckon this is probably the 5th time we have visited Nurburgring GP in Group 3 cars in Daily racecC for Gran Turismo 7. But let's get the racing action underway. It's going to be a very quick strategy guide, this one. We are very late to the party, and I'm more doing this video as a kind of record keeping for Daily racecC more than anything else. But we're in the Porsche here, the Porsche 911 RSR, starting down in P16. This was, I think we maybe did this race around about 4 o'clock on a Monday, so pretty strong field, and this was our first endeavour into the race. We did one practice lap, but as I said, it's not like we don't do this combination often enough that we can't get up to speed fairly quickly. Coming into the chicane for the first time, there is the mandatory, almost mandatory chaos, and you're going to see all sorts of shenanigans going on here. We did think about pitting on lap 1, and then we've seen some of the other cars going in. They were kind of playing a little bit of door banging in the process. We decided to abandon the idea to make that pit stop and stay out for another couple of laps. So jumping forward here to lap 3, we are up into P10, and we have a massive oversteer moment there in the Porsche into the left hand corner. It's going to allow Brea to jump in front of us in the Z4. I was actually planning on pitting at the end of this lap anyway, because I didn't really want to kind of deal with getting overtaken and losing any time that way, but the slide there into the corner was, well, made that decision even more easier. So coming out the chicane here, just be careful of the white line as you enter the pits, and do be careful of the corner here as well, which you do drive when you enter the pits, and you will see the occasional person get that one wrong and end up in the barrier. So we're going to change the tyres here, a bit of an early tyre change strategy. So as ever with a lot of these races at the moment in Daily racecC, it is, do you change the tyres or do you not change the tyres? Now in Daytona, because the tyre change was about 5.5 seconds longer than the no tyre change, people obviously went for the no tyre change because 5 seconds was a lot. But to change the tyres here is 4.8 seconds. If you don't change the tyres, you're going to be stationary for 2.2. So it's only a 2.6 difference between changing the tyres and not changing the tyres for this one, rather than the 5 seconds that we had at Daytona. Overall, you're going to lose 20.8 seconds if you do change the tyres, and you're going to lose 18.2 if you don't. Now let's jump forward here right to the end of the race. Now remember, look at our tyre wear there. We have only done 6 laps on these tyres, so you can imagine if you were to try and do the no tyre change that you're going to get to the end, the tyres will last, but you're going to have a lot more tyre wear. And I think the sort of general consensus is that the tyre change strategy is probably about 2 to 3 seconds quicker overall, and it seems to be the strategy that most people are moving towards as this week progresses. The race finishing time only coming in at 17.5 minutes there, so there was definitely scope for some additional laps in this one, and maybe even a longer 40-minute race would have made this race a little bit more interesting with the new tyre wear model. But for strategy options, you have basically the standard 2 choices. Do you change the tyres at the pit stop, do you not? If you do change, you can pit between laps 3 and 6. Obviously optimal is 4 or 5. You'll lose 2.6 seconds in the pits, but you're going to have better tyres at the end. If you don't change the tyres, you do get that flexibility to pit on any lap you want. You save 2.6 seconds, but you're going to lose a lot of pace at the end. Overall, the tyre change strategy is going to be quicker, but strategy comes down to circumstances, and there is going to be certain circumstances. If there's a lot of traffic, a lot of fighting, and you're looking to get a big undercut and a sort of jump some cars in front of you, where the the no tyre change strategy is going to work, especially if you are pretty gentle on the tyres. So overall thoughts on this race? Well, much like Daytona last week in Group 3, this is by no means a bad race. Group 3 at Nurburgring is always generally pretty good fun. There's a little bit of strategy in there, there's a little bit of flexibility to try and make something work, but much like Daytona last week, like I said in the video, it's hard not to feel like we've been here and we've done this before, and I would just like PD to kind of just expand on the races just a little bit, you know, something just as simple as having a random time of day in this race would make it so much more appealing as the week goes on. Some races at night time, some races in the morning, the wind direction changes, the temperature changes, that has a slight impact on the strategy as well, because obviously if the temperatures are cooler, the tyres last a little bit longer, the no tyre change strategy becomes more viable in these kind of situations. I would just like to see just a little bit more creativity in the races in order to try and keep them interesting as the week progresses. And yeah, if you're a new player coming in, then you're probably going to enjoy this race. Probably going to see a lot of people doing this race quite a lot this week as well, but the knock-on effect of that is that the PD are just looking at the numbers, they're going to go, well, you know, obviously people are enjoying this race, so don't be surprised when it comes around quite quickly again. But yeah, that's all I've got to say on this one. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye now.